with Canadian have a player from some other region. I'm actually not sure. You could probably ask him. I think some like small island off the coast of America.
Canadian's on home soil. Did you know that?
Just like you.
When I think of Atlanta, I think of Canadian.
Canadian. Oh, Turdster, yes, indeed, you are playing Space Station Gaming. That is correct.
It's good to make sure, you know.
Did you guys see the tweet that Turd put out before every single match? I think Jackie highlighted on the desk earlier. He's been saying like, yeah, BDS looking like the best team in the tournament. They'll definitely destroy us and send us home. For today, he said, Space Station looking like the best team in the... I can't take this seriously. This is going to be a mid-off, and we'll see who makes main stage.
You know, a mid-off implies that you, too, are also a mid-team.
I think that's what he's implying.
But fair enough. I mean, I used to, when I was a player, I used to go on with this mentality that I always believed that we would lose. Because then I'm always playing like it matters. Like, I gotta clutch every single round, and like if losing is the expected outcome, I'm not like afraid of losing, you know? So I think Turdster might have some like reverse psychology where, oh, you guys are so good, you're better, etc. And then he smokes them on plating. I like it.
Well, he did have a big round on Border with that Archives hold.
He did.
On Cafe, though, as we've discussed, extremely different map in terms of how it plays out compared to Border. And this now is Bleed's pick. So if there's anything going for them, it's the fact that they knew they were coming here. They picked it today, despite losing it to DZ yesterday. Now they're playing another North American team. Let's see if this supposed NA Killers can live up to the name.
I want to see some more flavor in this map because Border was pretty vanilla. Besides like 1 or 2 rounds, they were pretty fast-paced. That was mostly from Space Station, actually. And Ying is banned against. That's of course not going to be played this time around. But we do have stuff like the Glass, the Grim, the Capital, the Blitz, the Monty, etc., etc., etc. Valkyrie and Fenrir both been banned off. Very common stuff for Cafe. Whereas Hibana is a bit of an odd one. I don't recall that as Hibana ban.
I mean, the question for me is that Hibana banned to try and protect those Azami Keeper barriers?
Could be, actually.
Or is it to try and protect the hatches and force a sledge or something and enable more aggressive C4s? I'm not sure what the idea is there. But for SSG, I think it's a fair ban. They clearly watched Bleed's match yesterday, and Bleed did play Hibana, I think, almost every single round. It was their main hard breacher, if I recall correctly, in their game against DZ. Now, my concern, Nick, here is when it comes to Bleed, who are starting on the attacking side, as SSG got to pick sides, they're going up against Azami, Mira, all of the catch possible, Solus as well. And that is a really hard lineup to fight.
No, it is. And this is a classic SSG defense where they have like 3 different layers to this. They start in piano with cute bears, they fall back, they got bathroom mirror window or cocktail mirror window, then they got the side downstairs as well. They do this domestically in the North American League all the time. And even the North American teams who know them so well, they scrim them every single week, they struggle against this because you gotta worry about so many things throughout the round, and the moment you drop down a hatch, the moment you enter the building, you're always constantly on fire, under pressure, and we see Foles playing Cigar, doors castle barricaded, Bleed, they got a problem solved from the very second they reach the building. Mentally speaking, it's going to take a toll on players like Mentalist to IGL this round.
Mentally, it'll take a toll on Mentalist? Was that a deliberate?
That was the angle.
Did you do that?
No, his name just happens to be that. You know, I can't control that.
That is so convenient. James, you've watched a lot of Bleed.
Yes.
What are we going to expect from them on Cafe as a whole?
Well, I think for many APAC teams, you're versing a team just like every other team from every other region. You're going to see, especially on Cafe, looking to clear from this piano side or go for an East take. Now, it is the former rather than the latter. And unfortunately, Bleed have already lost one of their most important operators, the Sledge, for taking down these castle barricades, for using those grenades. And they're at a bit of a loss at how to clear that position. However, they did eventually push Foltz out of shop, where he was hard holding, but not without losing a player. And I think SSG, like you said, happy to peel back the layers, happy to peel away a few kills for Ashen too. Holding this mirror position on the bar, Bleed, just 2 players left and a 2v4.
I mean, that was just a desperate attempt. You know, no easy way in, so just full sentence if you can get a kill, but no Ashen on the mirror in the position. Takes down 3 players back to back to back, and Turdster alone in the 1v4. We got this classic 3-member stack up.
It's not happening.
Come on, Pika Turdster, you got this. There's only going to be one guy there.
Who's taking it? Who's taking it?
Oh my god. All 4 of them are watching this angle.
J9O lying on the ground with a pistol like he's a secret agent.
Oh, it's Foltz.
Holy moly.
Oh, it's round 1, bro. Chill.
3. They can't. can't control themselves.
I said in map 1, this is a vibes team. They live and die off the vibes. And one thing that Ashen has undeniably brought to this space station roster is vibes. You can't see it, by the way, but every single player in the server right now is rocking the space station player card. They did the same thing with Fade.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they've done it, I think, for every team.
Did they do it with DZ as well
Off the top of my head, they did.
Incidentally, that DZ match was played on Cafe, so you've got a good amount of footage on that, so SSG are probably imbued with some of that information.
Well, also, just as we were talking about that Azami setup, I'm casting my mind back to the BDS game from earlier today, and I really liked what BDS brought. They were actually taking Kali to their upstairs bomb site. Yeah, Renshi on the Kali. He loves that operator, and with the 4 Lancers, you can clear a lot of those keeper barriers relatively easily, and the castle barricades as well, which SSG are bringing here.
Yeah,
I think that would have been a good adaptation in the absence of the Hibana.
Yeah, no, that's the thing, like, Hibana brings you flashbang, switch on Cafe, ADS clear is very important, of course, but also, as you said, the keeper barriers.
Whoa.
That was a nice attempt. Bit of damage.
Trying to pull a turdster.
You gotta go fast, right? But,
you bring a warden,
man.
It's a full man court here.
That's why you bring a warden? Get that 1.5.
Just spawn peek, yeah.
Yeah, why not? I mean, you just play for the gun at this point.
He doesn't have a gadget, does he? Nah, I don't think so.
No buck, by the way, on a kitchen execute. Who now carries all that weight for the soft destruction on the top floor? I'm assuming that a linear take from Bleed was not in the cards. Probably we're going to put one of them upstairs. Hold on.
He just walked in bakery?
I think a linear take is going to have to be on the cards here, though.
Without the buck, yes.
Without the buck, and also with the pick and bakery control. So usually it takes a long time to get bakery. Reaps has snuck in and taken down Ashen. Getting revenge for that spawn peak. This is theoretically possible for Bleed. It's going to be challenging, though.
Yeah.
But I think they do have the ingredients to make a bakery takery work.
The thing is, normally here you'd say...
I caught that. I caught that.
You have the 4 smoke units, that's great, but you got Warden and Solus up against you. You can't just go for a cheese plant. You can't see through the smoke, but Warden can. So Fultz and Jane, I know, the 2 big star players here.
There's already closet control as well for Mentalist. That's another one of the big tick boxes if you're going for a bakery take.
Very quickly to get it. I mean, obviously SSG would have heard that proximity alarm go off, so they know that somebody is in there. But there's a lot of phantom pressure, which is a word that we use from time to time. And I mean, if you throw a Valkyrie camera in an area or a goo mine, for example, you don't need to physically hold that map control. Your gadget's going to do that instead. Hold on, Reaps has found an opening, and Fultz will wait for it as there go the logic bombs, and he can ping away. I don't know if he can stop it there. The impact to go out. Is he pulling it off? He manages to do so. Space Station slaughtered by Turds to Asfi as well. A kill, and J90, the last man standing, outdueled by Mentalist. That is
impressive.
A ballsy play.
It doesn't matter if you get your buck spawn peaked. Who cares about verticality?
Yeah.
We'll let you have the top floor. We'll let you have those angles looking down. Don't even care you got the Solus. We'll find a little nook and cranny and we will plant there.
Yeah, and it was if they had a player from SSG inside of the small box, right, the closet area, all of a sudden you can't plant that position, but they gave away so much map control because Space Station, they wanted to hold the first primary floor for verticality. They were holding downstairs as well, but again, one plant spot couldn't quite be covered. Sure, if Reeves was low on HP and those 2 impact grenades would get the injure or the kill, that solidifies the round, but they didn't. And I mean, that was the Forest is kind of dies at a really good angle there.
And this is the 2023 meta of Rainbow Six Siege, right? It's a game of all these little mini games happening at the same time, and adaptation.
Yeah, I did a lot of thinking on this before the major started, because if you go back to like 18, 19, 20 of Siege, every team had like different like identities. It was all about breaking the meta first, figuring out how the game was played, and then other teams would follow you, but you're the better team at it. Now it's the game of inches or of centimeters, right? Every single team is trying to get a little bit better than each other at the fundamentals of the game. The droning, the clearing, the trading, etc. And the best teams in the world right now, they're on like the 94% of like performance, right? Whereas the bottom teams of this major are at like 75%. So teams play a similar style a lot of times, similar operators and strategies, but it's all about who's a little bit better at those teeny tiny details, and that can build you those leads.
And those teams that come in with more prepared pocket strats and looking for rushes, I've seen a lot of it from Wolves this tournament. I've seen it a ton from Virtus Pro, and I've seen it a little bit from FaZe. It was an MO of theirs in the past.
Yeah.
A lot of that hasn't worked out. We've seen that with Wolves and VP being eliminated from the tournament. You're right, Nick. You need to be good at everything in this current meta of Siege.
Well, you do, and SSG, they are one of these teams that can play usually all 4 bomb sites. And in particular, as well as Brazil, they love this mining bomb site. You play the pulsar solos downstairs, the mirror windows on side, you play C4s, and all of a sudden Bleed, just like the first round, they don't really know where to enter the building.
We saw Hot and Cold, by the way, as those Tracers go in from Turdston. Repel still looking for Houghton. There was a brief window of time where I think a vault out was possible, but all the while, that Ram is being distracted. 2 on Repel now with Reaps there for backup just in case the run out does net a single kill.
But they got into the building. You can't win from outside on window Repel, at least not without like some sort of planned attempt, but that's not gonna happen. C4s and pockets, mirror windows, solos, etc. Top floor control is still in favor of SSG as well.
Twitch has just managed to find that primary mirror window watching the red hallway, which does expose SSG's position somewhat, but realistically, the top floor needs to be cleared as Fultz has taken down Turdston.
And there goes those boogies as well. I don't know where the intended application was. Last I saw Turret at 3 in pocket.
Oh, there's a free kill.
Yeah, Mentalist sees Forrest trapped in the corner. Hoven, though, credited with the kill. Now as the cross is established, the proximity alarm will continue to give away the position of at least Mentalist as Hoven slaughters Ashen. A second pick. J90 dying to Mentalist. All this control from above has netted a surplus of kills for Bleed.
I mean, 1 or 2 rounds ago, Ashen was shit-talking for repelling in the heaven window, and then Hoven makes it work and kills it, so I don't know about that. SSG fighting from behind now. After a couple of isolated 1 versus 1s, it's going to be really challenging, Nick, to hold onto the side.
Yeah, it is, and then there goes a flank attempt against 1, but he needs more than just that.
It's a diffuser as well, so a very powerful position.
Oh, he's a loss.
Oh, he's all alone. Yeah, and they will hunt him down. Hoven at the angle from long range. 2-1 for...
I mean, very isolated members there from Space Station. Every single member died alone, no trades, nobody even within like a close proximity either. And it's a mixture of good intel from Bleed, seeking those openings, and just going for those kills out of nowhere. But also Space Station, they don't typically play cafes spread out. They like to play those together around the utility, around the mirror windows, and in that round, they did the opposite. There's been some so thin across the map that nobody could help one another.
Yeah, and can I just say as well, Cafe is the second thank you for your permission, Tengu.
You may as well.
Thank you. I think every time I want to speak in this trio, I'm going to have to ask both of you, get the sign off. We might have to send it up to the higher ups at Blast. But as I was saying, Cafe is the second most defender-sided map at the tournament thus far. And that's 59% defense. So you should be expecting 4 of your defense wins. Bleed has already found their 2 attacks as par for the course this half. Any more from here on out is looking a bit scary for SSG.
You know, one of the reasons why I was such a good player, Def, is because I suck at math. You tell me that this is a 50% defensive favor, say, you know what, I bet I can take more attacker rounds. I don't care. You know what we're saying?
Oh, why are you so good?
No, was. Past tense. I'm washed now, Parker.
You did tell me the other day that you could replace a lot of players in a lot of these teams and improve them.
We don't say that publicly. That's an agreement, talent agreement, right? We gotta toot our own horn sometimes.
I gotta throw you under the bus for that.
Yeah.
I won't name names.
I'm sorry, Kino.
Oh!
I'm sorry.
I wasn't gonna say it.
The closest you get to being in the server is criticizing those who are able to.
The closest you get to being in the server is playing a different game in our hotel rooms the night before.
I mean, hey, that's all I've ever been. I never pretended to be a pro.
I didn't pretend either. Hello?
You didn't need to pretend. You lived it, but not anymore.
Not anymore.
Keep reliving the glory days. You're the guy sitting at the bar being like, you know, I used to play for the Yankees.
Back in my day.
Yes, Grandpa, let's get you back to bed.
No, that's what it is. Retirement home, yeah. And it's why some person seeing some of the players like Troy still play, of course, and compete. But in this server right now, everyone's relatively young, right? What's Hot and Cold, of course, the oldest members right on the server.
Hot and Cold, 25 years old.
There it is. Yeah.
How do you have that information?
He just knew that.
I know it all, man.
Oh, he turned, what did he? He turned 23 and they put him on hard breach. He said, that's it.
Yeah.
The end is coming. Fultz, by the way, dying out. He's not one of the oldest players on the team, but he's certainly been around the block for quite a long period of time. Bleed with that advantage. Hot and Cold with 1 immediately silenced by Pillars. Look at how quick to the punch they are.
Damn.
With Ashen outduels Asvi. Another lined up with a Nitro cell to boot. The buck of Hoven in hot pursuit. Playing off of a small opening, but looks the wrong way. Flashes himself, James.
The youngest player in the tournament has turned up for SSG. Wow. It has been equalized, however. Bleed have plenty of time to make this work, and J9O's really low HP.
Yep.
I wonder how many drones will be able to get in position for Bleed's dead teammates to watch and enable some form of execute.
It's one of my favorite rounds. A 2v2 where you go, who's actually in the favorable position? Because defenders, they got side control, sure enough, but it's going to be a low health Warden and a Jaeger up against Lion with a scan left and Tursta on the ace. It's really anyone's round here. It comes down to who plays better together in the 2v2 to either isolate a member or get that trade going when they get into a fight.
J9O being on low HP is not ideal, but just needs to stay safe for the time being. Forrest is yet to find a kill so far, which is not what you saw previously. He's in this rat angle, thrown by the A-bomb site. Turds opening things up with those Selmas to go, but time not on his side. I don't know if Forrest got droned out, but either way, Mentalist will lose that tool. He now came by. The drone not seeing Forrest, but Turdsta does. A quick jump in, and now the diffuser will need to go down with J9O watching. He cannot get an angle on this with no intel, and he'll be shot to the right side. He gets away with it. Poor coverage from Mentalist, who hasn't moved from his spot. Does he need to, though? Because he could have a lineup now if J9O peeks the wrong way, and right as he wanders into Mentalist's sight, what?
No.
Mentalist has not seen this. J9O to go around. There he goes. Position should be given away at this point. Ring around the Rosie with now Mentalist playing tight to the soft wall. The top of J9O's head might be visible, falling off. Wasting time as much as possible to go back on. Mentalist will need to commit at this point, or else J9O can get it.
Oh, no.
Mentalist can't see the head. No. Shoot away! Blunders from both of them, but Space Station wins the round.
Massive blunder indeed. I mean, the thing is, when you're tucked behind the cabinet there, you can just go for the defuse. And Mentalist, he had the roads inside a bakery. He went outside the window thinking that they were going to play for the kill, but no, it's about the defuse in that scenario. That should not be happening. And the most experienced player from the roster of Bleed, he blunders the 1v1.
I mean, in terms of timing, I think Mentalist played that perfectly. He baited it on out and then he fell back. But on the re-peak, he didn't realize that it would not be an easy angle. There might have been a way he could have gotten that shot off, but as we could see, it was a lot harder than it seemed initially from that plant position. And I don't know about you, Nick, but that to me, it comes down to, I don't know what, like how do you expect a player to know about that specific angle? Is it just experience?
I was gonna say it's experience, but also pre-planning. There are two types of players in a clutch situation. They're the ones who act off instinct. I would say Asher might be that kind of guy, right? Who he sees something, he goes for it. And then there are players who pre-plan like a chess game, every single variable move where they do this, I respond with this response as well. And I just feel like Mentalist didn't have a clear answer. He was tucked in the corner, holding a very passive angle, and thinking, oh, I'm smart, I'm playing the clock here, and that's a really good way to go about it. But then when the push came to shove, he was just didn't have the answer, right? Rotating Baker, we see it's wide open up, and I think if you walk up the red staircase and open up the soft wall with the DMR, he might have had an angle, but that didn't click for him.
Mentalist is going to be kicking himself after that one. That is not a happy facial expression. Thing is, when you're in the heat of the moment, when you're in the middle of a game, the worst thing you could possibly do, the last thing you should be thinking is, I just messed that up.
Yeah.
You have to dispel any thoughts, any doubts. You have to be cocky. You have to believe that you are the best player in the server every second of the way. As soon as that doubt starts to creep in, you start to manifest that and start playing how you believe.
Yeah. Same with your teammates, right? Like, if you lose that round, somebody, like, lets out a sigh or goes like, man, come on, that is not okay, right? You go, hey, man, nice try, we got this, don't worry about it. You know, we give them a free one. You joke about it, right? You don't want to put your teammate down, be like, you know what, man, that wasn't good enough. That's the last thing you're going to do. And I don't think Bleed, they have a bad environment. I think on the opposite side, I think they're quite good friends here, and they can make this play going forward. So, you know what? We gave them a free round. It's 2-2 tied up. We win some, we lose some.
And the last thing Bleed should be worrying about now is this half, because as we've said, it should be a 4-2 split for defense, statistically speaking. And Bleed have already got there too. So that was one that goes begging. Yeah, it should have been a Bleed round for sure, but that should just give them confidence to find one of the next two.
Oh, you're right. We're gonna start the roam clear. This very methodical, old school clear. Go top and clear it all the way down. Then the big question comes later on. Do they go for a half clear, where you take piano and you take cigar and you walk down staircase? Or do you go for the full clear, where you take full top floor control and rain that vertical damage towards the bomb site? Well, they got Thatcher and Ace, as well as a Sledge, all with soft breaching charges, or the Sledgehammer. So I think this will be a full clear top. Floorstone goes out, it gets the shield from J9O, and already weakening those strong positions up top.
Yeah, you can still play this position without a shield, especially when it's Wamai. He's got those regenerating discs to open up potential protection from any projectiles. Hot and Cold's been forced on back. He's the Echo, so you want to keep him alive in the late rounds. Looks like Reeves might actually start to push him from below on this lurking Sledge.
Interesting. Lurking Sledge, how looking for grenades.
Dirt nades.
Oh, this is wild right here. Oh my!
Oh!
Not droning out the Mira, not understanding that Forrest is down below. A hell of a way to get on the board first.
But why is he there?
I think Forrest must have dropped
I think so
the
too.
dining bomb site when he had the read. Credit to him.
Turps has been down now as well, by the way.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
He's finished off, so it's really fallen apart for Bleed. SSG have a very solid position off the back of just some tiny mistakes.
Yeah. Forrest the kind of player where he's like, if I don't know what I'm doing, then the opponent won't have any clue either, but here they go in, they're gonna try and break this bomb set apart.
And they're just slaughtering them now with the crossfires being so well for Bleed. Making an ungodly racket as they've taken control of the train section, but this is a reading bomb site, not mining, which was defended all the way back in round number 3. So you've been able to take a portion of it. That bomb site's like a big L, basically.
Okay. Well, it looks to be a potential L here as Hoven's found an early pick, and Mentalist looks like he may be able to stick this. Hoven peeking through for a second, goes prone, wants to back on out to a safer position. Asfi takes down Ashen. And just 2 players left for SSG. Look for a retake. Not going to be easy. Faults 2 gas canisters still in pocket. Not used to deny plant, but potentially used to cover some form of retake. Creative usage here, but I think there's still a solid position. Asfi to find the double. 2v5, baby. 2v5, baby.
I mean...
This ain't even in the top 50% of hardest games we've ever fucking played. Literally, you're diff by Fury! You're diff by Fury, guys!
Now, I've watched a lot of Bleed matches. I will say, this level of trash talk, as vocal as that was, seems a little bit out of character. But I mean, you got to match fire
This
with
is
fire.
not out of character for Bleed, I tell you what. Coming from the APAC region.
I was trying to be polite.
Coming from the APAC region, I'm very surprised at how wholesome Bleed have been this matchup.
Oh, yeah.
They love the trash talk. I would say more than almost any other team I know in the APAC region, especially at the upper echelons. They absolutely froth it, and Asfi in particular has really shown up, but he's backing it up with the stats as well.
Yeah.
Here it is. I mean, I'd be talking some smack after that as well.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. I think, you know, you kind of said earlier, they started off saying, you guys are better than us, you know, you guys are so good, etc. Turns out today it was like, it's not about being nice anymore, right? It's a mid-off saying that you guys are bad, we don't care. And then the Smack talked to back up as well, and they get the third attacking round. Statistically, a great half.
It's like, if you're calling us bad, then what does that make you?
Yeah.
And also, on top of all of that, Bleed get clutched on, right? J9O, amazing clutch with the Ninja Defuse down in Kitchen. Then the SSG take their tactical timeout to let that sit on Bleed for a moment. Let them argue. But they're not arguing. They're busy moving on to the next round. They've just countered SSG's tactical timeout by winning the following round. And they've exceeded par for the course on their attack of CAF.
It's a phenomenal round for them. And I mean, let's say J9O didn't get the clutch right. All of a sudden, it would be a 4-1. So small things, of course, swing the numbers here. But as you see, they changed things up. They've been playing this passive utility game now. Asami, Jaeger, Solid, Ward, and Doc. They want to fight and be in their face.
I will say, we have watched certain matches between teams not ever really have the diffuser be a focal point. It's not been the case with Bleed so far, as they've been able to plant it successfully 3 times through just Cafe. They were also successful on Border, so strategically, they can follow up all of the killing that they're capable of doing. In this round, they're down Reaps, who died early on.
Let's cause some chaos.
SSG with an advantage yet again. SSG has either gotten the first pick or traded in every single round so far of this first half, and yet they don't currently lead.
was gonna say they can leave him behind, but this might be too big of an ask, honestly, with Hoven falling as well afterwards. Now you got util operators left, right? You got a Force and an Ace, and Turster on the Ash to pick up the pieces, but SSG, they got the Dock. If you do some damage, they're gonna kill it right back up. They got Q barriers all over Piano. It's a hard one to pick apart.
I'm surprised that it took SSG this long to go back to Bar Cocktail. They won it in the opening defense, and they're looking extremely competent here as well with this Azami setup. Bleed, the lack of Hibana, struggling to clear out those positions. I believe they have now lapped up a little bit of map control in that western portion of the top floor, but Forest is still down below. And there's not a lot of movement here available for Bleed. So many good crossfires set up by the Americans. It's going to be very hard bomb site to crack.
Yeah, sitting back, waiting with the crossfires like I mentioned. It's just saying, no, we don't gotta move. Again, classic SSG gameplay. That station when you're Bleed, you don't have those key operators, no Nomad, no Sledge, and good luck, have fun.
It's a really good core strength there from the Solus. I don't know if you saw the way that they were flanking, but the fight being brought right now to Bleed as Forest from down below will swing on to Mentalist. Now Turds does next in line of sight. No damage so far has been done to this SSG squad at all. Fultz on the dock means that you've got the stim pistols to bring you back up, but he hasn't even needed to use any of them.
Man, what a waste.
10 seconds remaining.
10 seconds remaining is all you need to hear to know that Asfi is sitting outside.
5 seconds left.
I mean, SSG doesn't need to move.
Jump out, please, one kill.
First half, breaking down dead even, 3-3.
It's funny, when Bleed, they're in that, if that was Bleed in the 5v1, they'll be jumping out windows, getting that last kill, and see like, no, we're gonna hit you with the discipline. We're not gonna move at all. You know what? We're just gonna bleed you out slowly.
A little bit of trash talk as well in the chat there from Hoven, trying to goad SSG into making those jumps out the windows. But at the end of the day, they will not sacrifice their flawless round to close out the first half. This really has been quite a tug of war. And as we move into the second half, yes, in theory, Bleed statistically have the advantage, this being a defender-sided map. But I would not at all be surprised if SSG can have a reprise in the second half.
Yeah, and you guys can't see it, but now you can. Monty and Blitz being shown. I mean, again, surely not, right? Top floor attack? There is one attack that could like kind of the skylight drop. Smoke, flash, skylight drop, plant, postman upstairs. Yep. That's a strat.
You know what I call that? That's the 4-4 ranked strat.
No, that is the 4-4 ranked strat. But you'd normally want a Ying or a Capita for that to work. And again, double shield and Cafe, not the, you know, the usual style to go for. And they're gonna change everything around here. No shields at all. Gridlock and Nomad instead. Thinking for Jaina, I know. They're not gonna be fun about this round. They'll kind of slow things down and be more cool about it, I guess.
Well, for SSG, these top floor defenses relied on the Azami and Bleed not being able to clear it. SSG, they don't bring the double shields, and to be honest, they don't actually bring as much util as I would personally like to clear all of these keeper barriers. There is a Jaeger on the board for the defense, which will make those grenades a little bit less effective, but you've got 3 sets of grenades and a set of flashes, so it is very achievable here if SSG are very disciplined with their utility.
What I want to see actually in this round is that instead of Nomad, you take Grim, you go on Cocktail Window, you beat top floor, you go into library with 6 grenades, you see the beat, run. Brazil does that with Cabitao actually, and with grenades. Not 6 grenades, but you know.
We saw a little bit of it on Border, right? SSG with that double grenade, found a player in CCTV.
Exactly.
Why not here on Cafe?
I want to see it, and they are making their approach downstairs. Hot and Cold and Nook can sneak in, evade those cameras. But again, for Space Station, they want to approach the bomb side very slowly and ensure that all 5 members are alive until they do their job. Fultz, hard breach. Other people, the flashbangs and the grenades. Once they've spent those pieces of utility, then they can start getting aggressive on the gunplay.
Well, you've already done your job of getting upstairs. The hard part becomes getting into that building, and look at this. Hot and Cold as a worm, wriggling through the tiny opening towards pillars. Asfi is the player in Cocktail closest to heaven. As a drone gets set up by SSG, and Hot and Cold will have patience. Buddhist monk at this point.
He might have patience, but what is Wormboy looking to do down here?
That's correct. And also the shaved head of a Buddhist.
Carter's not here.
That's a deep reference. People won't understand that we call Carter Wormboy, which has now been said on a broadcast. I'm very upset about that. But
Wormboy down! Wormboy down!
You can be all the cloaked in the world, and Reaps will still see you with his own set of eyes. First pick goes for Bleed in the second half.
And that's kind of like SSG's like quote-unquote secret weapon or not so secret weapon, where it's gonna be hot and cold in the flank and doing stuff, but the grenade is still up there. You got 2 other sets and one does a bunch of damage onto Asfi instead on Cocktail, but look at that. The dock value instantaneously gets him back to full HP, but Foltz also finds Hoven shortly after.
I've seen a lot of dock play between these teams, particularly Space Station, and not sure if I've ever seen the value be as high as it is in this particular round. Now with only 30 seconds remaining, the next step for Space Station, get in, start cleaning up some of these kills. Reaps a second onto Forest. Foltz will jostle with the dock, swung on. It's a perfect trade, but Bleed still with the man advantage. Action to swing in, upside down. Will need to retrieve the case as Asfi is the cross upstairs, top of Whites. Ashen needs to survive past this point, but Asfi is the close angle. If you lose the case here, J90 will not be able to recover, and there it is. Now to engage in a 1v2 as time runs out. J90 punching air as Bleed wins their first defense.
Come on! Fight! What are you doing?
I wonder if Asfi comms as much as he does to the other team.
Yeah, I was gonna say. He's saving all the calling out for the opponents when they win rounds.
Jokes aside, you look at that little chuckle from Mentalist, and you think back, what was it, just 3 rounds ago that he failed that, in theory, easy 1 versus 1 clutch. And the expression on his face back then, yeah, Asfi's talking a lot of smack, but it really is helping. If you can get a laugh out of the players on your team that would otherwise be beating themselves up, you're doing your job.
Oh, you are. And that's, again, a healthy team environment can take you very far. It's been a long tournament if you're Bleed. It's been a long tournament if you're SSG, right? You've been going through a lot of different series, a lot of different matchups, a lot of, you know, close games where one round could have made the difference, but they're still here. And in some ways, it's a shame that only one of them can actually advance to the quarterfinals, the playoffs of Phase 3. But that's life.
One thing that I really do wonder with Bleed is how much has their early victories giving them real confidence? Because we see a lot of these young teams from minor regions come to events with a lot of confidence, and then a loss or two, it's like, oh, we're not even used to playing this video game. Like, this is a different video game to what we play back home in our APAC scrims. Bleed are a notoriously confident and even cocky team, but you come to an event and you have one upset in a BO1 here, one there, and you're like, no, literally we think we could compete in NAL now.
We might do this, yeah.
And that kind of confidence, I think, completely turns a new leaf for these players going up against a roster like SSG.
Oh, good value being found by Forest, finding 2 Goyo canisters rather, and that's gonna kind of set SSG up for the late round now. If they can get there, they won't have to be stalled out for 20 seconds per canister, so they buy themselves a bit of time. But the eyes are upon the top floor right now. The roam clear has to begin shortly. Last time we saw Hot and Cold Mentalist. Last time we saw Hot and Cold go downstairs looking for a flank, but I think they're gonna play closer together. But look at that, he's got a spare in pocket. That's annoying.
Those things are a dime a dozen.
Yeah.
Fire for them lasts so long.
It does. 20 seconds.
You never realize how long 20 seconds is until you find yourself with 25 seconds to go and a Goyo canister gets popped.
Oh,
you think
boy.
to yourself, mother of God, this is not going to go out well. J90 first casualty on the Ash, punished by Mentalist, the Goyo. Not exactly playing the safest game, but I mean, we've seen Goyos play off-site and take those engagements early.
He is a big clutch player, J90, so definitely if I'm Bleed, I want to take him down early. SSG seem to have a little bit of a gap in their information here. However, Asfi's gone down. He won't be lippy for the rest of this round, except for giving call-outs.
Misdroned.
Yeah, the drone was just far too early. It went around the wrong side. However, good trade. Does make this doable for SSG.
It's a very good trade. I mean, again, those even numbers, and again, Hot and Cold applying pressure, still got grenades in pocket as well, got those adrenal surges going, but there's so much time to work with. And without information from Bleed, no Valkyrie available, it's banned out, very few default cameras. They gotta be guessing, but they guess correctly.
That's why you keep shadows on, by the way, folks, because you can see that shadow well before it comes onto that freezer wall.
It's true, settings do matter. You can only see dynamic player shadows if you're on medium or higher in the graphical setting. And some pros here got exposed in the content piece because they go, shadows on low, more FPS, whatever. Yeah, you can't see shadows, my guy, come on.
Oh, there's another, as these vectors are so powerful in the hands of Bleed. Uncold in a 1v2 with 35 seconds remaining. He had a ping for a moment and now knows the Tracer's over towards White, but only one. Where is Turdsta? There you go, inside a reading. Some education for Hot and Cold. It's 2 in a row. Bleed's lead grows. They're up 5-3.
I gotta say, like, Bleed's cafe so far has impressed me because often what we see from, I want to say, just APAC as a whole.
What are you doing?
Oh, wow. You guys can't see this, but on our second monitor, in the all chat, Hoven hits SSG with, what were you guys trying to do?
That's a great
At
question.
what point do the admins step in here? Like,
No, let it go, let it go.
I mean, I'm chill with it, but there is a rule, right? Like, I don't know, in the Blast system, we had a new rule book. I don't know where
Don't
the
be
line is
boring,
drawn.
James. Don't be boring. SSG, they can just mute them, okay? Big boys can mute them. They're not responding back, though, right? They don't want to feel
true.
like they're faced by it, because the thing is, if you start answering back, you know you're kind of bothered by it.
For sure. You want to let your gameplay do the talking. As soon as you engage, Bleed know that they've gotten to you.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing is, if you look at the round from top down, it didn't seem like SSG didn't know what they were doing. They just lost a couple of gunfights and Bleed were the better team in that round. So it's not even like it's true trash talk. It's just simply Ash trying to get in their head and be like, guys, what are you doing, right? How are you losing those rounds? You're like, where is the strategy at, you know?
Well, in terms of strategy, we've just moved down to the basement, or the ground floor bomb site. What were you going to say, Parks?
I was going to say, I like when teams are able to match the trash talk. It's for us as 3 English speakers. Nick, obviously you speak Danish, but there's not a lot of Danish players that are probably speaking in Danish.
You could probably do a round in Danish. I was asked to do a round in Aussie.
I mean, Parker flames me when I mispronounce things because of my Danish accent, so I feel like I'll just lose my job.
He
I'll
says
cast with you.
scarce,
Yeah, I say scars instead of scares.
which sounds like you're just saying the team name incorrectly.
Yeah, but you're American, Parker, so you say everything incorrectly.
I mean, I can't even make fun of you because if you were from New Zealand, I'd just say you're Australian. And that would be the ultimate insult to them.
Well, it's been an insulting start to this round. As back and forth, the trades have gone. Hoven somehow finally taken
He
down.
got him.
So eventually the trade has been made.
Bit of a messy one. A jump out that gets down forced, but then he died, vaulting that final ladder. He almost escaped, but almost is not really of much value because he didn't. But a very slow round from SSG, very methodical right now, and could be a run out. Oh, the read. He was there before the door was open, by the way.
Yeah, good bait. I think SSG are getting a little bit of a read onto the aggression from Bleed. 4v4, totally unnecessary to make these kinds of plays, but it's what gives Bleed their brand and also what gives Bleed their fear.
Well, they've got the tools to ride out the remainder of this round. You got 1 magnet still in pocket. Another will be available in just a moment. Turt's got 3 Kiba barriers to plug any soft destruction or hard destruction that's brought by Space Station. This particular case, it's just soft destruction, as the Buck was the only one with a hard breach gadget. Forrest, of course, died first.
Oh, is Hatch Rio'd?
As well. On the Solus, can just wait for a post plant or even a plant to begin and play off of that. Turds does use 2 of those Kiba barriers posted up at the moment on Freezer as the Boogie drone from the Ram goes to work.
I love the Boogie drone, yeah. The destruction! It's so efficient, it's so quick. When you lose the Buck, but you have Ram and Sledge, the Buck doesn't matter.
Well, the downside is that despite having all this vertical gain, it's still not possible to flush out Turd from that coffee position, and he's going to be able to play it for much longer because of the Kiba barriers. Nades will be required to flush him out, but that one is chewed up by the Wamai's magnet. A second one tempted to go through. SSG know about it, but time is of the essence.
No, absolutely, and Honcold will have to go for a drop where Turdsta is looking, and there he goes to hit the deck. Turdsta flashed out, missing it. Grenade primed and ready. It goes. Ashen drops. Turdsta's down for the count. It's a sprint on in as Houghton goes for the plant. You're going to need to watch this one quite intently.
5 seconds remaining.
Both players from Bleed to retake through the whiskey door. Foltz will watch over as Houghton likely gets out of position. They're all in. Spawn Mentalist drops down, and now it's Reaps to save the round. It could be match point for Bleed if they prevail, but this is a really tough gambit to get back into the kitchen. 2 players looking, and Reaps gets one of them. A second fight, his for the taking inside a freezer. Missing out, but a shotgun to reduce Houghton to low HP, but not enough. Space Station withstands the aggression and wins the round.
It's the wrong shotgun. Simple as any other shotgun, I think. He might have had that clutch, but he didn't have the right one. And Space Station with great cover and believing in one another Fultz with the cover and the flick as well secured the 2v1, and they played that post plan beautifully.
It really is a testament to Space Station that that round was as close as it was. We were talking about it, 20, 25 seconds left on the clock, and still Turdster is in this power position, holding on to that ultimate plant spot inside Coffee with keeper barriers. Hot and Cold knew he wasn't going to nade him through the vert, so he waited to drop. He got safe. He waited for stuns to come through, and then he naded not the keeper barrier, but above it, so it would kill Turdster. And without a second's thought, he sprints across and goes into the plant spot with the trust of his team to cover. And despite all of that effort from SSG, Reaps made it damn close.
Oh, he did. Oh my god. Yeah, no, it's way too close to comfort for sure, but they earned that round. They fight all the way through from the beginning to the end. Vertical play, I like that you pointed out, it was there, but it didn't actually impact the round whatsoever. Not a single kill happened from above. The post plant is not enabled either from that post plant position, so sometimes you think you need to do something, like destroy the floor, but sometimes it doesn't matter at all.
I just noticed another early round E1D from SSG. We saw that on border once. I can't tell whether it's to scare the life out of Bleed or whether it actually is to slow down setup, especially on a bomb site where you're running like a castle mute strat. Setup does often take a while, but we do have not just that line, but the blitz as well.
Yep, Forest blitz. That's a lovely thing to see. Now, it can go one of two ways. Either he gets 3 kills and wins the round, or he dies in the first 20 seconds of the execute and it won't go anywhere. It's very one or the other with Forest.
It took Forest a while to get on the board, and I mean, what is he? He's the record in NA for most kills in a single game, is that correct?
You're looking at the wrong guy.
Yeah, I'm not
If I remember correctly, it's, well, of course you're not Jesse. He has more hair than you.
Oh, come on.
That's rough. Here's a good C4. It doesn't actually land anything at all, so I'm not sure whether the lineup was wrong or SSG were quick. Here comes the blitz. Asfi's gone down. That said, he was able to take one with him, and Bleed have held on to this numbers advantage. Bombsite downstairs in reading. This is such a pivotal moment. Bleed have an advantage, and if SSG fumble this round, match point will be available for the SEA team.
Yep. And the thing is, Blitz is great for the upstairs clear, but the side execute might not be as strong because now the crossfires are there, a lot of soft destroyable walls, a lot of like foot shooting through those like low angles as well. So Forrest's job is basically much done here. He's probably gonna be the one planting or maybe enabling his teammates. So it's down to Fultz and Ashton to work together and try and find some picks here, try and find some kills.
It's one of those proximity alarms on the stairs leading up from the first floor on Brown stairs. So if somebody decides to push from that angle, they'll be heard, but I don't think that's the intention at the moment, as the last couple drones used by Space Station get shot away at. Forest, the blitz, completely removed from action as Ashen and Fultz trying to sprint over to Reading, but they can't even get through it before tackling that mining bomb site. Now it's Fultz with diffuser in hand. 3 sets of eyes, all looking in his direction. There's a 4th set as well, just in case more is needed from Bleed. But they've chased Fultz down white stairs. There's no way for him to be able to get out of this other than just a fist fight. Not a lot of time left. They can line up, but they swarm him in the end.
Guys, Science fucking mining!
Bleed on that point.
Sorry, side is mining.
Side is mining.
Mining or no?
They eventually got to Reading, but the round was basically over and it wasn't even Reading. Bleed are having a laugh about that one. As you said, Parks, map points for Bleed. It is their map pick, and if they are to win this round, then we're actually toe-to-toe, not only in map count, but also round count, as Space Station were able to win 7-4 on border. Bleed could well do the same thing here on CAF.
Oh, they're close. And they got all the bumps to play between here because they can play all 4, so even if they were to lose a round or 2 here, plenty of options to go. Top floor is their choice, though. And we saw SSG do pretty good up here with those cube barriers, with the dog as well. Kind of similar setup here from Bleed. And it's such a strong setup. The key barriers with piano, dog landed chip damage, nades downstairs, etc. And again, there's no easy solution here if you're SSG. You ban the banner yourself.
Yeah.
So you're forcing the floors probably.
There hasn't been a single attack round 1 onto this bar cocktail in this game so far. Of the 3 times it's been played, SSG won it in the first and last rounds of their half. Bleed opened up their half with a win on it as well. But they were confident enough to go to mining last round, and you can see they were very happy about that. Wow, bit of damage onto Forest. Here comes the E1D. Once again, right at the start of the round, Not a lot of value out of that, to be honest, and I think it's clear that Bleed are not mentally affected by that play.
Oh no, they don't care. And I love the fact that you're on match point. They keep line scanning early, you still go for that spawn peek. And look how much time it's buying. Forest is pre-firing a window, trying to get to the building for a rappel up towards the roof. It buys you 10, 20, 25 seconds maybe because they're so far behind.
Deploying drone.
Well, I've got to say, I mean, we've been treated to 2 incredibly exciting matches so far. I know, James, that you've obviously got vested interest in
What do you
this
mean?
match.
What? No, seriously, what do you mean by that? I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, of course.
I've casted SSG a lot of times this
You know
tournament.
that's not what
And I love SSG. Cap aside, I have developed quite an affection for SSG over their course this tournament. They have
like
a real story that I am getting behind.
That's like when the kid with cake on his mouth gets spotted and they're like, no, I hate cake. Who would eat all the cake? That would never be me. I would never do that.
That's not me. I love cake.
Yeah, well, and you love SSG too, so what's to believe?
Keep it deployed.
I will say, Consulate will be an exciting third map, providing we get to that point. Space Station could still very easily turn this one around, and with the amount of teams that have been on the precipice of winning their map only to choke it in the final round or two, it actually would be more likely, I feel like Space Station could close this match up. Maybe
good
not
info.
outright. They've got a minute and a half to play with to try and draw even with Bleed and push us to overtime. If not, Consulate awaits us just under a minute.
Whenever you're on match point and you're a new team like Bleed that they are, you know, risk assessment. Are you going to go for these plays now? If you see them, are you going to take that risk? Because if you lose it, all of a sudden SSG, they're making that comeback possible. They got the intel on the attacking side. They're going to act upon it.
Oh, wow. Good C4. Hot and Cold does find Reaps and immediately goes for an 8 on the back of the E1D, but cleverly, Asphy has relocated. J90 finds the opening pick as well. Doubling down for SSG. Asphy looking to get aggressive. His position revealed, but he will not stop walking on forward. SSG seemingly ready for it as Hot and Cold once again steals away a pick. Forrest makes it a 5v1. Hoven with it all to do. A single pick is all he finds. And SSG only need a single round to push into overtime.
Oh yeah, they're so close. And again, I kind of said risk assessment, right? That was probably the most passive round from Bleed so far. Sure. 1 second.
I'll catch freebies every time, okay?
Freebies, baby.
Give me a drone, I'll catch freebies.
Besides the C4 itself, Bleed were relatively far back in corners, kind of waiting and not really, you know, shutting down the entry points. They started the offense, going for that spawn peak, and then they're like, okay, guys, let's just sit tight, wait for something to happen. But the issue is, SSGs, they capitalized perfectly upon that information they had. 2 yellow pings, got them 2 kills, and it just snowballed from there.
I think if Bleed are going to go for an attack, or a defense rather, like that, where they're playing so passive, I think they need to lean on the Solus a little bit more to try and get information, especially with how much Hot and Cold is playing Knock, right?
Yeah, that's a good point.
You're going to see that knock through walls. You know that you're getting a Lion. When he activates his gadget, you actually get wall hacks on him for a few seconds as well with Solus. So Ashen, who came in here, would have been spotted. In fact, if that was a Solus, he would have seen both of the players who pushed in on him. Now, believe it or not, Mentos was the Solus. I'm not sure whether he wasn't using his gadget or wasn't in position to support, but some very minute details could be turning these rounds on their head for Bleed. However, SSG, I think they've got a good read. The question is, in the final round of the half, can they do what Bleed did in the first and win 3 attacks on such a defender-sided map?
Yeah, I mean, they're changing things up. They got Twitch, Gridlock, they got the Capitao as well, so a bit of utility being brought. They were hovering the Monty Blitz in the very first round. Forrest did play Blitz a single round, which did not work out. So I like this kind of utility-oriented style. Again, intel, so vital. Mute jammers from Reaps can, of course, sway that, but the thing is, Cafe's a very open map. Those jammers are mostly meant for the walls, not for drone deny. So those drones should be getting intel. There it is, Ashen. He sees Lobby. It's open area, sees the bulletproof. Doesn't get with the first shot, but hopefully with a bit of time, he can get it. I believe he did. And the default cam to go as well. Yep, it's gone.
There's another default cam he hasn't yet taken down. Not sure if there's a specific reason for that. But the high-value targets will also be these Vulcan canisters, which we saw him disable in one of the previous rounds. Mentalist still has one in pocket to potentially replace in the late round, but
like that.
Bleed have quite a heavy investment on this top floor. As I say that, an aggressive peek from Terza takes down Ashen downstairs on the balcony. He's still alive, despite the fire coming in from Capitao.
That's a nade.
but it's not necessarily cooked well enough. He gets away from it. Instead, they're all climbing in. SSG going for a rush, and Mentalist putting in work.
Damn.
SSG not working out so well now for you, is it? J90 in a 1v3, and Hoven and Aspie joining with the GH.
Jeez, thanks, guys.
Oh my, I'm not gonna touch that last one. If you know, you know. If you don't look at it. That's all I ask, desperately. Explosions aplenty on the stairs, and J90 knows what comes next. They'll clown on him on white stairs. Hoven with the last kill. We're going to a third map between these two titans.